It's a cheap way of communicating. It is short and to the point. To use it, you're not bound by the confines of grammar. And yet, to lovers of language, it could also be poetic. Text messaging, that is. For many mobile phone users, it has become a way of life. And yet, like all things good in life, if not used well, it could potentially land you into trouble, as a number of Kenyans have already experienced. Take these two examples. Recently, a magistrate's court in Nairobi sentenced a woman to community work for 6 months after she pleaded guilty to sending an offensive text message to another woman. In another case, a City Council of Nairobi employee was fined 30,000 shillings or 3 months in prison for sending a text message ridiculing the private parts of a man. In both cases, the respondents were found guilty of sending offensive text messages, which naturally begs the question, what constitutes an offensive SMS?
It's a kind of message that is not in praise of somebody. It lowers the dignity. It injures the real personality of a person. It attacks the character of an individual.
This classification is more or less derived from the law. Section 29 of the Kenya Communications Act No. 2 of 1998 states that if a person, by means of a licensed telecommunications system, sends a message or other matter that is grossly offensive or of an indecent, obscene or menacing character, or sends a message that he knows to be false for the purpose of causing annoyance, inconvenience or needless anxiety to another person, then that person will have committed an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 50,000 shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 months or to both. This means the many text messages that people send, particularly when annoyed, are likely to be offensive whether to colleagues, friends, family members or even strangers.
It's just law which is catching up with the age and technology, in which people now are fond of abusing each other through the SMS. As soon as somebody gets disappointed with you, the next thing you see is an SMS.
But there's something else we need to worry about. If you lend someone your phone and that person uses it to send a text message deemed offensive, then you could land yourself in trouble.
It calls upon all of us to be careful with our phones. We have to be cautious.
To avoid such situations, the first thing to do is to clear the message you want to send. Read it, revise, and be sure before sending it. Also avoid the habit of sending text messages when angry, whether to your friend, partner, workmates or relatives. Unless, of course, you want a text message to be the cause of your first legal conviction. Hussein Mohamed, Sunday Live.